At the beginning of the story, we see a woman named Tantry hanging inside a hospital hydrotherapy room. At the moment of her death, she recalls visions from her past. Through these visions, we learn that she used to work in the same hospital. More specifically, she was an obstetrician who assisted pregnant women with deliveries alongside a woman named Ida. However, for the past few days, Tantry had not been in a good state of mind. Ida tries to understand what is troubling her, but Tantry never reveals anything. Despite their age difference, the two shared a strong friendship. One day, when Ida enters the hydrotherapy room to help deliver a baby, she is shocked and terrified to find Tantry's dead body there. After this, the story jumps 5 years into the future. We are introduced to two girls, Aro and Pika, who are close friends. They arrive at the same Lambang Young Hospital for their internship, the same hospital where Tantry ended her life 5 years ago. The hospital had remained closed since that incident, but now it was about to reopen. During their bus journey, Aro starts feeling unwell due to nausea, but Pika manages to support her and bring her safely to the hospital. There, they meet Hiru, who works at the hospital and is also Ida's husband. Dr. Ringo is also present, and initially, he refuses to allow female interns. However, after Pika insists, he asks them to speak with Dr. Teto. After this, Ida takes Pika and Aro to their room. Inside, Pika carefully observes everything around her. The hospital is still under renovation since it had been closed for 5 years. Meanwhile, Aro still doesn't feel well. When Pika suggests calling Dr. Arif, it becomes clear that Aro's condition is worsening, and she informs someone about it over the phone. Later that night, Aro secretly goes toward the bathroom. However, Ida is cleaning it, so Aro ends up entering the hydrotherapy room, the same place where Tantry died. The room still looks exactly as it did 5 years ago. Suddenly, we notice demonic hands appearing behind Aro, but they vanish just as quickly. It seems as if these entities realize that she is pregnant and has taken abortion pills. Soon, the pills take effect, and after the abortion process begins, Aro senses that she is not alone near the bathtub in the hydrotherapy room. Before she can fully face whatever is there, Ida arrives and tells her that this room had been sealed off. Aro immediately leaves the place. The next day, after speaking with the doctors, they are allowed to stay in the hospital. However, they are warned about the rumors that the hospital is haunted, and they are free to leave any time if they feel uncomfortable. Dr. Teto appears to be a kind and understanding person. Around this time, a woman named Ayu arrives. She is Teto's ex-wife and also a psychiatrist. She behaves strangely when she sees Aro and says something important to Teto before leaving. This turns out to be a very significant moment in the story. Later, Jackie explains to Aro and Pika that Ayu runs her own clinic, but occasionally visits the hospital. As time passes, people begin to learn that Lambang Young Hospital has reopened, and patients start coming in. However, many of them are still curious about the Tantry incident from 5 years ago. Pika overhears these conversations and finds them a bit strange, but she decides not to focus on them and continues her work. Meanwhile, Aro is still feeling uneasy. That day, her boyfriend Dimas comes to meet her, the father of her unborn child. In fact, the call she made earlier was to him. What happened was that Aro had become intimate with Dimas and got pregnant, but later, he refused to take responsibility. As a result, she was forced to go through an abortion. Dimas treats everything very casually and even tries to get physically close to Aro again. But now Aro understands that he is not right for her. She decides to end the relationship and asks him to leave. At the same time, outside, we see Dr. Tito. We then see Tito asking Maming and Hiru to repair the hydrotherapy room. The unused hydrotherapy area was about to be sealed off with a wall so that the rest of the rooms could be reopened. That night, Hiru goes to give Aro some equipment and bed sheets. From this scene, it feels like Hiru may have behaved inappropriately with her. After some time, Aro somehow makes her way to the patient room, where Teto asks her to check the last patient before he leaves for the administration room. Pika also comes there to talk to Aro, but when she sees that a patient has entered the room, she decides not to disturb her and leaves. Shockingly, the patient inside is none other than Tantry herself. We already know that she is a spirit, and she is smiling in a very strange way. When Aro approaches her for a checkup, Tantry starts touching her womb in a disturbing manner, as if she already knows something about her. Suddenly, the lights go out, as if the spirit has become angry. Aro turns on her flashlight and looks at the chair, but Tantry is gone. This completely shocks Aro. She tries to leave the room, but the door shuts on its own. Tantry then tells her to stay with her. Aro is terrified. When the lights come back, the room appears empty, but when she looks into the mirror, she sees Tantry sitting on her shoulder. This frightens her so much that she collapses onto the floor. Just then, Teto arrives, and everything suddenly returns to normal. Meanwhile, we see Maming trying to break the bathtub in the hydrotherapy room. The the same one where Tantry's body was found. Hiru arrives there, and at first, Maming gets scared. But as he tries to break the tub, he ends up injuring himself instead. This makes him feel that they shouldn't be working there, as some negative energy still exists. However, Hiru is a strange man who doesn't believe in such things. He tries to convince Maming, but Maming ignores him and leaves. At that moment, Hiru receives a call. Someone needs an ambulance. Since the location is far away, Hiru quickly leaves with the ambulance. While driving, he is talking on the phone, and from his conversation, it becomes clear that he is a very immoral person. Suddenly, while driving, Hiru starts seeing Tantry repeatedly on the road. It seems that with the hospital reopening, Tantry's spirit has been set free. Because of this, Hiru loses control of the ambulance. It crashes badly, and he dies on the spot. The next day, when Hiru's body is brought to the hospital, everyone is shocked. Ado is the most affected. She goes aside and starts crying. Pika comes to comfort her, and from their conversation, we learn the truth. The previous night, when Hiro came to Oro's room, he had touched her inappropriately and tried to go further. Oro, already scared, ran into the bathroom crying. That was the scene we saw earlier. At that moment, she had wished for someone like Hiru to die, and that same night, he met with the accident. Pika reassures her that none of this is her fault. She then decides to let Aro stay in her room. On the other hand, Maming is now extremely frightened after Hiru's death. Ida is saddened by Hiru's death, but deep down, she seems aware of his actions. She motivates Maming to continue his work, and he returns to the construction area of the hospital. While working alone, the lights suddenly go out. Maming starts hearing the sound of wooden slippers. He immediately remembers that Tantry was the only one in the hospital who used to wear such slippers. Right after that, Tantry's spirit begins to haunt him. Terrified, Maming runs and eventually reaches a cliff near a river. To cross it, there is only a broken tree acting as a bridge. In panic, he tries to cross it but falls into the river. Somehow, he manages to reach the shore and returns home by morning. But there, he breaks down completely. Then, in a flashback, we see something shocking. Maming and Hiru were the ones who had hung Tantry's body. Maming admits to himself that he did it only for money. This clearly means that both Hiru and Maming were involved in Tantry's death. That is why her spirit is after them. She's already taken revenge on Hiru, but Maming is still left. Filled with regret, Maming decides to confess the truth to Ida. He goes to meet her near the construction site, but as soon as Ida hears his voice, she walks into a room. When Maming follows her inside, he realizes that no one is actually there. He has fallen into Tantry's trap. Tantry then attacks him and places a floor polishing machine on his back. His entire back gets shredded, and due to excessive blood loss, he dies on the spot. Meanwhile, Aro enters the room again, crying for some reason. Seeing her like this, Pika immediately hugs and comforts her. Aro now wants to quit the internship, but Pika explains that they shouldn't give up. She reminds her that both of their families are waiting for them to succeed, and they must move forward. Now ahead, during the night, Pika wakes up and finds Aro extremely terrified. Aro tells her that Tantry, the one who appeared to her earlier, was not human. She says that even now, she saw Tantry crawling under the bed, and while she was asleep, Tantry was licking her body with a long tongue. While they are discussing this, a man arrives and informs them about Maming's death. Hearing this, both of them are completely shocked. When they go near Maming's body, Pika notices Ringo standing there, lost in thought. He then goes straight to Ida to talk to her. Pika finds Ringo's reaction very strange, so she tries to overhear their conversation. However, Ringo realizes that she is there and leaves without saying anything. Pika then goes to Ida, who is deeply saddened. Just one day ago, Hiru had died, and now her close friend Maming has also died in the same hospital. Pika tries to comfort her and asks why the hospital's owner, Mr. Prediquil, Begas, is not taking responsibility for these deaths. In fact, no one has even seen him. Dr. Tedo is the one handling everything. Ida has no clear answer. Because of this, she searches for information about Mr. Begas on the internet, but finds nothing. It feels as if the owner has completely disappeared. Later, when Pika returns home, she sees Dimas leaving on his bike, while Aro is sitting outside, looking very disturbed. Dimas has come to talk to Aro, but recently, when Aro told him that she had been forced at a clinic, he insulted her by calling her promiscuous, which means someone who has relationships with many people. Because of this, Aro is already very upset. Meanwhile, as Dimas rides along a deserted road, he suddenly sees Tantry standing alone by the roadside. He becomes tempted and approaches her, offering to drop her home. This is exactly what Tantry's spirit wants. She points toward a forest path, and Dimas takes her on his bike in that direction. But as soon as they enter that path, his bike falls off a high cliff. At the same time, Pika is trying to ask Otto who had forced her when she receives a call from Dimas's mother. She informs them about Dimas's terrible accident. Although he survives, he is badly injured and admitted to the hospital. Otto and Pika immediately rush to the hospital. When Dimas's mother sees Pika, she hugs her and starts crying. From her words, we learn that when Dimas told her he was going to Lembayung hospital to meet a friend, she assumed he was going to meet Pika. Pika does not respond, but Otto is completely shocked. After Dimas's mother leaves, Otto realizes that Dimas may have been cheating on her with Pika, and that Pika had also been involved with him physically. This realization completely breaks her. She leaves alone, devastated. Pika also returns to the room, feeling disturbed. It is raining outside, and Otto comes back drenched, but she doesn't talk to Pika. Instead, she starts packing her things to leave. Pika then explains the truth, that she did have a past relationship with Dimas, but she broke up with him because she refused to get physically involved. This happened long ago, even before she started wearing a hijab. But as soon as Otto hears this, she suddenly becomes possessed. She says that people wear hijabs just to hide their sins behind them. Hearing this, Pika gets terrified. Otto then suddenly faints. Due to her severe mental breakdown, her condition worsens, and she is admitted to the hospital. Her mother is extremely worried. Pika now wants to know the truth about everything happening, so she directly questions Tato. What is really going on in the hospital, and why the real owner, Mr. Begas, never appears. At this point, Tato smiles slightly and reveals a shocking truth. He himself is the real owner of the hospital. Begas was actually the name of his driver, who had retired long ago. Tato intentionally used his name and photo so that the staff would treat him like a friend instead of a boss. His plan worked, which is why the real owner was always among them, yet no one realized it. Meanwhile, Ida decides to leave the hospital and return to her hometown. She has already lost Tantry, then Hiru, and now Maiming. She no longer has the courage to continue working there. Before she leaves, Pika gives her a locket that belonged to Maiming, which she found among his belongings. Seeing it reminds Ida of something. Whenever Maiming made a mistake and couldn't apologize directly, he would write a note and place it inside that locket. And even now, there is a note inside it. When Ida sees the note inside the locket, she starts crying and throws it away before leaving. The note had Tantry's name written on it, which clearly indicates that something wrong had been done to her. As soon as Pika learns about Tantry, she searches for her online that night. She finds a photo showing Dr. Ringo and Tantry together. However, Ringo notices Pika searching about Tantry on the internet. From all this, Pika concludes that Ringo must somehow be involved in everything happening inside the hospital. Because of this suspicion, she begins keeping an eye on him. One day, when Ringo leaves his bag on his desk and steps out for a while, Pika searches it. Inside, she finds a newspaper clipping about Tantry's death. Along with that, there is a diary containing hair samples of multiple women, including Aro's. This terrifies Pika. She secretly takes the diary and hides in a room. When Ringo returns, he realizes someone has tampered with his bag. As soon as he notices the diary is missing, he panics and starts searching for it everywhere. Meanwhile, Pika manages to slip out, but outside, Tato catches her. He asks what she stole from Ringo. Pika asks for his help, believing that Ringo might have killed Tantry and that the diary could prove it. Tato, hiding the truth, takes Pika to an empty place and tells her that Tantry used to work in the hospital and had a very kind nature. But one day, she killed herself, after which the hospital was shut down due to it being haunted. Tato says he had left at that time but later reopened the hospital. However, if these incidents are happening again, it means Tantry's spirit is still there, and Aro is not safe. So, Tito takes Pika and drops Aro at Ida's house to keep her safe. That night, while sleeping, Aro dreams of Tantry digging a pit near a house. Ida is also there, trying to comfort her. Suddenly, Tantry pulls Aro into that pit. In reality, Aro's body starts stiffening, as if her spirit is being attacked. When Pika wakes up, she doesn't find Aro in the room and rushes to the hospital to search for her. She hears Aro screaming from the hydrotherapy room and immediately calls Tito to come there. Aro keeps repeating, "It's not my fault, he should die." As mentioned earlier, the hydrotherapy room had been sealed with a wall, but the roof was slightly broken. Using a ladder, Pika somehow enters the room. Inside, Aro is sitting in the bathtub, possessed, repeating the same words. By then, Tito also arrives, but is unable to enter the room. Pika shouts Aro's name loudly. Aro suddenly lies still in the blood-filled water. When Pika approaches her, Aro grabs her and forces her underwater, making her witness something. Pika is transported 5 years into the past. And here, the biggest truth of the movie is revealed. Pika sees that from the very beginning, Tato had evil intentions toward Tantry. His kind personality was just a mask. One day, he drugs Tantry's drink, makes her unconscious, and assaults her. He even threatens to kill her if she tells anyone. This is why Tantry had been so disturbed. She tried to tell Ida many times, but couldn't. When Teto realizes that she might reveal the truth, he drowns her in the hydrotherapy bathtub. Then, with the help of Hiru and Maiming, he hangs her body to make it look like a suicide. But the shocking truth is, Tantry was still alive when they hung her. She died later due to suffocation. Everyone believed she had taken her own life. Now it becomes clear why her spirit killed Hiru and Maiming. Back in the present, Aro is still holding Pika underwater. Just then, Tito somehow enters and slaps Aro, knocking her unconscious. Everything appears normal again in front of him. As Pika supports Aro and tries to leave, Aro whispers that Tito was the one who assaulted her too. He had given her the same threat to kill her if she spoke out. Pika understands everything but tries to escape with Aro. However, Teto realizes that Aro has told her the truth. He attacks them and even stabs Pika's hand. He's about to assault her as well. But suddenly, Dr. Ringo arrives and strangles Teto with a wire, knocking him unconscious. Pika apologizes to Ringo, and then the truth is revealed. Tantry was Ringo's fiancée. They loved each other deeply, and at the time of her death, she was pregnant. This explains why her spirit was drawn toward Aro, because she was also pregnant. But when Tantry realized that Aro had aborted the baby, she felt deeply hurt. Ringo had believed that the child Tantry was carrying might not have been his, but Teto's. He even tried to involve the police, but Teto bribed them and buried the truth. Now it becomes clear why Ringo had collected hair samples. He was trying to find evidence of assault through them, hoping to prove Teto's crimes. But Tito was powerful and wealthy, with strong connections, so nothing could be proven. Ringo, being an ordinary man, had remained silent out of fear of disgrace and had wrongly doubted Tantry. But now he wants to free her spirit. The only way to do that is to completely demolish the hydrotherapy room, since her spirit is tied to it. As they discuss this, Tito regains consciousness and suddenly stabs Ringo twice. He then reveals that the child Tantry was carrying was actually his. Meanwhile, Pika tries to save Aro and escape. Teto grabs medical tools and starts chasing them. They hide somewhere, but Teto finds them again. While searching for them, he reveals his past. He had first killed his own abusive father. His father used to assault his mother, and from there, Teto developed a habit of abusing others. And I believe, Teto's divorce also happened for the same reason. He then reveals that one day, he poisoned his own father's drink and killed him. Back in the present, Pika hides Aro safely and comes forward to face Teto herself. Teto tries to kill her, but just then, Ida arrives. She hadn't actually left for her hometown. In anger, she stabs Teto, as she has already understood the truth. At the same time, we see Dr. Ringo is still alive. After somehow treating his wounds, he starts demolishing the hydrotherapy room. Meanwhile, Ida has badly injured Teto. But when she approaches Aro, she realizes from her behavior that Aro is still possessed by Tantry's spirit. Seeing this makes Ida emotional, as she truly misses Tantry. Suddenly, Tito comes from behind and brutally slashes Ida's throat, killing her instantly. Now, Tito moves toward Pika to harm her as well, but at that moment, Aro becomes fully possessed by Tantry. Tantry violently attacks Tito, stabbing him and even gouging out one of his eyes. It's a truly intense and goosebumps-inducing scene. She is about to kill him, but Pika stops her. Pika doesn't want Tantry to stain her soul further. She promises that Teto will be sent to jail and begs Tantry to move on to the afterlife. Tantry finally agrees, and Aro returns to normal. The next day, everything is reported properly. After treatment, Teto is sent to an asylum prison. Aro and Pika are finally at peace. A few days later, we see Ayu, Teto's ex-wife, visiting him. In a flashback, we realize that the first time Ayu saw Aro, she had already noticed Tantry's spirit behind her and had warned Teto about it. That was the important scene we saw earlier. However, Tito had taken her warning lightly. Now, we notice something strange. Ayu herself seems mentally unstable. She always claims she will stand by Teto no matter what. But as she meets him in prison, her eyes suddenly turn dark from the sides. It seems possible that Tantry's spirit has now possessed Ayu as well to complete her revenge. Because Tantry doesn't just want punishment for Teto, she wants his death. And I believe she will finally achieve that. And boom, this is where the movie ends. So, yeah guys, that was the full story. Now tell me honestly in the comments, how was your experience watching this movie explanation? Did it give you chills or not? If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like the video. Let's aim for 1,000 likes on this one, Zasha. And don't forget to share it with your friends who love horror stories. Also, If you're new here, hit that subscribe button and join the channel for more Naya amazing movie explanations. I'll see you in the next video. Till then, stay safe and don't watch horror movies alone at night.